come to a check ID. Check 'em.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rats. And of course, I am your host, your YouTuber, sign off and imitator, never duplicated, Superstar Tim Vicious. We're gonna go over Raw this week was in Corn Country, Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, before we do, well, big fucking news need to go over. This news broke Wednesday. News reports broke it, and I'm not talking little dirt sheet jerk off news sites reporting it. No, this shit came out from like Wall Street Journal and all that jazz. Vince McMahon had accusations and charges have been brought up on Vince McMahon for sexual misconduct. I believe saying that he paid up to the tune of about $3 million to one of his employees for some quote unquote sexual favors. They didn't go into specifics, and honestly, I'm not. Yeah. And apparently Johnny Ace was involved with it also. So going from the time span of Wednesday to Thursday during that time, other than the fact that wrestling Twitter wound up having a fucking shitstorm on that, Vince stepped down as CEO while this is all going on. However, he is still in charge of creative. And Stephanie is now in his place as interim CEO. So, yeah. Honestly, I have no words. I don't know what else. I don't know on how to describe this. I don't know what to say except what the fuck. Because seriously, just that's the best I can say. What the fuck. Now WWE announced on Friday morning that Vince would appear on SmackDown to address the WWE fan base. And then, so, with that said, that seems like a perfect transition to switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind. And, well, the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Vince came out. He came out very much so braggadocious, triumphant, chest puffed out that Vince McMahon he has people cheering, chanting, and yes, I get it. You want to be mad. There were people mad and there were people upset about the fact that he was. But here's the thing. You're going to get that Pavlovian dog kind of response no matter what. I mean, hell, I'll use a good recent example. John Cena. John Cena's set to come back on the 27th, right? I guarantee you're still going to have people doing, John Cena sucks! John Cena sucks! Just because it's the Pavlovian response. No different than, for the longest time, no matter how much they were feeding Roman Reigns as a babyface, there were people booing him. Why? Because of that kind of response. No different than if they brought any legend back for a night. Even if it was for a quick 5-minute plug. They would get that quick cheap pop. Why? Because it's that Pavlovian response of, hey, there's something shiny right here. We need you to yell. Same thing. Vince came out, addressed the audience, said, and didn't say nothing about the accusations, which was, for legal reasons, a smart move on his part, because you don't want to go on TV and say anything that could potentially be used against you at any point in time. But Vince did wind up addressing the crowd. Tonight, when I address the fan base here, our moniker is then, now, forever, and more importantly, together with all of you. And with that said, welcome to SmackDown! And then walked out graciously. Honestly, that was a fucking brilliant move on his part doing that. Why? Because from the time of Wednesday into Friday. He was nothing but a major hot fucking topic from start to finish, all day, every day. And the fact that when it was announced that he was going to appear on TV, that circulated so much, quote-unquote, water cooler talk of, man, you going to see this tonight? What do you think he's going to talk about? You think he's going to say this? You think he's going to talk about that? It generated so much buzz. It's SmackDown, and I hate using this example all the time because I fucking hate it. It just seems so monotonous and pointless, but it was a ratings spike. It was a ratings ploy. You can make that argument. Yes, you know what? It was a ratings ploy. But you know what else is a ratings ploy? Everything else on the fucking show. Because it's a fucking television show and you want ratings. Either way. They did that, and then after that, then they proceeded to go on with the show. First, they had match Corbin going against Madcap Moss in a last laugh standing match, which it was a normal one-on-one match, but the loser is laughed out of the building. Moss got the win. Corbin was laughed at. Excuse me. Corbin was laughed at. However, the big part that got me, that really got my teeth sunk into this was afterwards, Corbin then got on the mic and started blasting Pat McAfee. He just, blasted Pat McAfee about on how he's always constantly talking down about him on this, on that, how he thinks so little of him. And, McAfee, he just stood up, took his headset off, like, we can go. And all I could think is, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Yeah. Yep, that was it, point blank. New Day had a match against Jinder and Shanky. New Day got the win. Jinder was pissed off at Shanky at the end, and honestly, listen, I get it. They want, trying to have Shanky be like the big, nice, cuddly giant, but dude, I don't. Okay, it doesn't appeal to me, but that doesn't mean that. Excuse me. That doesn't appeal to me, but that doesn't mean that it may not appeal to the person next to me. So, yeah, okay, whatever. Go. There was also a segment where last week, given the situation that happened with Drew and Sheamus, it was officially announced that Drew McIntyre and Sheamus are now both in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So, yeah, that's something. So we've got both guys in there on that. I'm all for that. Raquel Rodriguez had a match with Shayna Baszler for a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Raquel got the win doing the Chiquita Bomb. And, yeah, so there you go. And then finally, the last match on SmackDown was Roman Reigns defending his undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Riddle. And I gotta tell you, this was this was the fucking match of the night on SmackDown. These two guys put it all out there. Roman wound up getting the win, 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, he got on the mic. And what did I tell y'all? I said I was gonna beat him. After that, I said I was gonna go. I beat him, so you know what? That's it. I'm done. I'm gone. And just as he finished that sentence, next thing you know, cue the music. Out comes Cowboy Brock. Brock Lesnar returns. He comes down, gets into the ring, puts his hand out to shake Roman's hand. Roman shakes it. Next thing you know, scoops Roman up, hits him with an F5. And yeah. And then later on, following that, it was then officially announced Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match at SummerSlam, which is a smart move because yes, Money in the Bank is real close and nearby, but SummerSlam is where the money's at. Excuse me. So with that said, now let's get into this week's show, Raw, Lincoln, Nebraska. It starts out with Becky in the ring talking about on how Bianca Belair coming out to the ring, talking about on how she's scheduled to face Rhea Ripley at Money in the Bank. However, Rhea is injured and unable to compete, so she's not going to go against her. But that doesn't mean that she's not open to face anyone, so she's ready all the time, anytime. So who's up for the challenge? Out comes Becky Lynch, who then says, you know, you took my win from me at Hell in a Cell. I want my shot back one-on-one. And out comes Asuka, gloating and laughing at Becky, saying, you crying again, you being big time, baby, boo-hoo-hoo-hoo, yucking it up. Then out comes Liv, saying on how she deserves a shot, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Then out comes Carmella. Out comes Carmella, and then saying on how she deserves it because she's a 2-time Women's Money in the Bank ladder match winner, and, you know, also a former former SmackDown champion and former tag champion. And then out comes Little Miss Bliss. Hold that thought. Hey, Doc? Yeah, it's Tim. Yeah, can you re-up my heart medication? Yeah, I know, I just got a refill the other day. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Alright, bye. Sorry about that. Then out comes Little Miss Bliss. And then she winds up making a crack at Carmella, saying, remind me, when did you win anything by yourself? Because you didn't get the Money in the Bank on your own, and the last championship you won, you had someone with you. So, yeah. And then it eventually evolved into making this a fatal 5-way to determine who's going against Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank. So, with that said, Becky, Asuka, Liv, Carmella, Alexa Bliss ring the bell. Now, most of the start of the match was Liv and Alexa trading pins and roll-ups, and it was just like, what the fuck? It was like seeing a ball of Play-Doh rolling around in a ring, like, wait, what? Like, yeah. Excuse me. And just, confusing. After the break, though, now, not to say that there wasn't any action going on, but after the roll-up bit, then it was everyone just had like a quick 5 minutes to do something with one person. And then they went to break. After break, then that's when it seemed like the match really started picking up and everyone got a chance to really get a chance to go and shine and do some work. Match came to an end when Carmella wound up popping a super kick onto Liv Morgan, who wound up just popping her knees up to avoid a twisted Bliss. Now, Becky and Asuka were on the outside, so them two were incapacitated. And then Carmella, like I said, she did the super kick, 1, 2, 3, that was it. So your winner is Carmella, and at Money in the Bank now, it is official. Carmella versus Bianca Belair. And after that, we saw Becky Lynch having a fit, going off on Adam Pearce about on how she deserves her shot. She, you know, I deserve the shot. I deserve the title match. Me. I'm on the poster for the pay-per-view, for crying out loud. Why ain't I on this? This makes 0 sense. And that was an actual legit good point and argument. Like, wait, I'm on the poster for the pay-per-view, but you're not putting me on the pay-per-view? What's up with that? Excuse me. Sorry. Sore throat, allergies. But Pierce wound up Pierce said, you know what? You have a point. So, you know, you were originally scheduled to go against Asuka in a qualifying Money in the Bank match tonight. So I think we're going to do that. Oh, that's a good idea. In fact, we'll have that match later tonight. Becky's like, what? I just competed. What? Yeah. So next up, next match, we got Riddle going against Omos in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Riddle cuts a promo saying on how, you know, he lost to Roman, but he's down, but he's not out, and he's got this shot at winning, competing at Money in the Bank, and he's going to win. He wants to win so he can cash in and celebrate with his best buddy, Randy. And then out comes Omos with MVP. MVP just looks at him. You been hanging out with Snoop Dogg again? Do you hang out with Wiz Khalifa or something? Do you get some good... That's got to be the reason, man. Because you have got to have some primo stuff. Otherwise, you would not be this delusional in thinking that. There is no way you're going to beat this 7-foot, 400-pound Nigerian giant. So, yeah, fast forward to the match. It was what you expected. Omos dominated. He dominated. No other way around it. Now, Riddle, he got a couple high pump knees in, did a floating bro, got Omos staggering, but never got him off his feet. Then Omos with that two-handed chokeslam of his, 1, 2, 3, that was it. So Omos is in the Money in the Bank, which, that's real interesting because, let's just think about this. You got the 7-foot, 400-plus pound big man in there. Now, are they going to wind up doing like what they did with Big Show before and get like one of them gimmick super heavy-duty ladders for him, or what? Sorry. Next up, we got Jey Uso going against Angelo Dawkins one-on-one, and these kind of matches intrigue me, and here's why. Because while I absolutely love tag team wrestling, I do. I believe tag team wrestling is a very unique art form. It is. And it's something very near and dear to me. When I was doing my bit, I started out as a tag team. But also, I'd like to see, just because as I've gotten older, I got more smarter in the business aspect of the business. And I'm not saying I'm smarter than anyone else or more business savvy. It's just, no, I know what I know and I know what I don't know. But what I do know is tag teams are, I want to make sure I phrase this right. They could be more cost effective nickel and dime wise than than singles. So I like to see if a tag team, how tag team guys can work as singles for if and when tag teams break up. Or in the event you do something like what they did back in the 90s where like the New Age Outlaws wound up going and chasing after separate titles. Like they had Billy Gunn chasing after the Intercontinental, and they had Road Dogg chasing after the Hardcore. Just something. But either way, Jey Uso versus Angelo Dawkins. This was a good match. I dug it. Dawkins, started out really good. Jey wound up leading into the break. Post-break, they got a good show from both guys. I dug it. It was more so a good... I don't want to say this felt like a coming out party for Dawkins, but man, this is like the first time I could see Dawkins working solo where I'm actually like, damn, this boy can go. And I'm not saying that he couldn't before, but it's the first time like it caught my eye on that. Like, that was the thing. So, but Dawkins wound up getting the win, doing the sky high, shades of D'Lo Brown. 1, 2, 3, that was it. Next up we got... Next up, we got a gauntlet match. Bobby Lashley set to go against 3 opponents. And this came to be because earlier in the show, Theory came out gloating on how he beat Bobby Lashley in a bodybuilding pose-off last week. And then decided to go and show, once again, the poses. The double bicep, the low shoulder, and then curl like that. Yeah. And then went to go gloat by taking a victory selfie, and then as he's doing it, he sees behind him, wait, what? And then Lashley squirted him with oil, beat the crap out of him. Lashley then said, one way or another, this title's coming home to me. And then they saw, one of the interview people saw Theory in the back, said, you know what? I talked to Adam Pearce, and Pearce made a challenge. If Bobby Lashley can win in a gauntlet match against 3 different opponents, he can have a shot against my title at Money in the Bank. So, here we go. Bobby Lashley, his first opponent is Chad Gable, and I gotta tell you, the opening to this match was interesting because instead of seeing Bobby going for like the power game like he normally does, no. This was just straight ground wrestling. And that's really cool to see because, Bobby does have that in his repertoire, and, it was cool to see that brought out. Point blank, I dug the absolute fucking shit out of it, and Lashley and Gable, they put on a decent match. Gable led. Yeah, Bobby, he was leading early on. Gable led to the closing, and right up until the closing when Bobby eventually got the Hurt Lock in. Next thing you know, Gable tapped out. Right after he tapped out, Otis then got on him and started beating the unholy god out of him until they went to break. Post-break, then we find out it's Otis is his next opponent. Excuse me. I gotta start remembering to take something before I start recording. Excuse me about that. Sorry. Otis is his opponent, and as far as his match with Otis, man, Otis was pretty much leading right up until the end when Bobby, he was starting to get working his arms, trying to get his arms hooked on for the Hurt Lock. You could see he was like struggling. Otis, he's big boy. He's got that thick tree trunk neck. Yeah, so that's to be believable. And then just as it looks like he's about to get it, next thing you know, boom, Gable comes in, attacks Bobby, so Bobby gets the win via a DQ. Then they start doing a 2-on-1 beatdown on him, and then Theory comes down, starts helping, and then it's a 3-on-1 until Theory then comes out. Theory winds up leading, very much so, second verse, same as the first. Theory winds up leading right up until the end when Bobby gets the win via an inside cradle, which I gotta say, now while I'm normally opposed to roll-ups for ends, I have said when used properly, they make sense. This was one of those times where it made sense because he had the crap kicked out of him, wasn't able to have enough time or wherewithal to get on his feet or his bearings. So what did he do? He resorted to, I don't want to say underhanded tactics, but he resorted to quick tactics to, hey, scoop you up and hold you down real quick to get a win. Next match we have is AJ Styles going against Tomasso Ciampa, and this came to be because Miz did a Miz TV segment with AJ, asking him about how do you feel about with the whole Judgment Day and Finn Balor bit and fiasco going on with that, blah, blah, blah. And then Miz started laying into the mocking on AJ. AJ then countered by mocking Miz, bringing up on how, about with the whole tiny balls thing again. And, well, do we really need to make talking about Miz's balls a weekly talking point on Raw? Seriously? I mean, listen. I don't want to know about them. Just no. With that said, furthermore, no. Afterwards, then, Ciampa came out of nowhere, sneak attack on AJ, they go to break, come back from break, we see that the match got made official. A lot of good action with these two. Excuse me. Good action with these guys, dug the hell out of it. Miz was on commentary the whole time. Again, two Ring of Honor loyalists, former Ring of Honor TV champion in Tomasso Ciampa, and former Ring of Honor pure champion in AJ Styles. Both guys just, wow. They're both really great performers. I absolutely love seeing these two guys perform, especially against each other. It was a damn good match. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. Match came to an end. AJ got the win doing a phenomenal forearm. On to Ciampa, 1, 2, 3. After that, Miz came in to go and try and do a sneak attack. AJ stopped him, beat him up, then took his glasses and then posed. And AJ wearing Miz's glasses, I couldn't help but laugh because, wow. Man, with the long hair and the sunglasses, he looked like fucking Billy Ray Cyrus. If you have not seen that picture of AJ with his sunglasses, highly recommend you go on WWE's Twitter account, look up go on their media page, go on the picture tab, scroll through to find that picture. Just yeah, that's all I gotta say. So now we come to main event of the night. Becky Lynch going Asuka again. Asuka twice in one night. Yep. Definitely needed the heart medication. And there's a reason why my cardiologist loves me so much. I I'm pretty sure my insurance has bought him a boat by now. Anyways, Asuka, as she's coming down, she barely even gets a chance to have her little hologram on the TV thing. But then Becky just storms down, starts beating the tar out of her, throws Asuka into the apron. Asuka then rolls into the ring, takes her coat off, and then them two start swinging at each other. Fight before the bell. Oh my God, these two, I cannot stress enough on how good chemistry these two have. You know, these two have had good chemistry dating back for forever. I can't stress that enough. They got really great. The match had good back and forth. I dug the hell out of it. It was really good. Not only that, I absolutely loved on how Becky was just constantly like trying to get a win. You know, she's very much so digging into this persona of, listen, I need to get in a win. I need to get to this spot where I can get back in the title. You know, because she's very much so playing that I don't know who I am without the championship kind of bit really well. And match wound up coming to an end. Asuka got the win, doing wham, sidekick to the head on Becky, and that was all she wrote. 1, 2, 3. That was it. Ring the bell. Your winner and going to Money in the Bank, Asuka. Afterwards, Becky then proceeded to have a bit of a fit, slam the commentator's table, have a bit of a meltdown, and just like sitting up against the side of the apron, staring up, looking at the Money in the Bank briefcase like, oh. Like, now what? So, now there's still 2 more slots open, so there's nothing to say that she may not get in there at some point. So, with that said, folks, that is it for this week's show. So please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Also, thank you to my executive producer, Ali Ray-Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure to check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, all that good shit. Details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. There are a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, don't forget to check out some Vicious Rants apparel at whatamaneuver.net. Details on that are down below. Also, help pay the bills, help keep the AC going in here. And don't forget to follow these cool ass cats right on the Twitter. Kenny Killer DSB _ IB Diabolica RA Sergeant Curry Pants and Dubs in your face. And folks, like I always tell y'all, and like the shirt says, if you love me, great. You hate me, fuck you.